we have a break. So if you'll excuse me, I promised you that I would show you some of the medical developments, right? Because Sarah mentioned MEMS. This is, we do a paper review every morning, which you mentioned to me on BBC World News, right? The Japan Times from November the 11th, so just a week ago, right? The University of Tokyo has developed an electric circuit which is a quarter of the width of a human hair. It's along with the University of Texas, so it's globalization as well. And what they want to do is they want to put it into a bandage, which they'll then tie around a wound of the patient. They've tested it on a rat already. I was talking to Brendan about this earlier. 0.1 degree centigrade change in temperature will be picked up by the electrical circuit. That will tell the healthcare provider if there's an infection or a problem in the wound. So it's here, it's going to happen. They will do it in 3 years' time. So everything is starting now. The advantage, you know it, you're in the business. It will come very, very quickly. There are more examples like this. I'll show you them later. But for the moment, let's have Richard Lint. Richard is CEO of Microsoft's Internet of Things. And what I've just told you is a reality. Richard's going to give us a reality check and tell us how real the IoT is. Richard.
Thank you. Also, thank you for the promotion. I'm not the CEO. It was supposed to be our CEO or GM of Sweden that would do this presentation, but he decided to check out and go for another job. And then we were like, okay, who's going to do this presentation? And then we have a technical director, Sara Kullgren. So we said, well, Sara, you can do this. And is that an issue having two Saras doing? No, it's kind of good, you know. And then Sara called me and said, oh, I can't do this. So you know, we did a level check and we decided that you do this. And I'm a bit nervous because I was supposed to rehearse this yesterday and had a disk crash. And the presentation disappeared. Okay? So Murphy's Law is alive and kicking, I can tell you. But the preamble here was, I was also a bit nervous about the fact that I'm going to shamelessly do a product plug. And then I saw Telia shamelessly doing a product plug. So I'm feeling good about not being, you know, the odd man out here. Also loved Sara's presentation because it actually the last slide really pegs up this presentation, make it simple. Last year, we stood here and did the defining of Internet of Things. What is the Internet of Things? Things, connectivity, well, you can read it yourself. Sara alluded a bit to this. Where is the opportunity of Internet of Things? Well, we've done some research ourselves and realized that one thing that's very important is that data is the new currency, and the industries that generate most data are the industries that you know, can benefit most from Internet of Things. And the biggest industry, or the industry that generates most data, is manufacturing. The second one is healthcare, and then comes retail, then comes smart building, etc., etc. So far, it's manufacturing. Now, just food for thought about healthcare. In the future, we will add your personal genome to your patient journal that transfers with you. Now, the full digitized genome per individual is 7 terabytes per individual. So a massive amount of data. So who knows, healthcare will be the biggest vertical for data going forward. Last year, we had Aerocrine here, a company in Uppsala that works with asthma diagnosis, using parts of our Azure IoT cloud services for their solution for asthma. They use the Stream Analytics bit, and it's been very well received, and it's gone very good for that company. This year, I just want to make a plug for a Swedish company. There's a research company out of Karolinska Institutet called Optoplexia, that actually, using machine learning, now can diagnose dyslexia, you know, within a couple of minutes, and in very early stages. Usually in Sweden today, or in the Western, or in Europe, diagnosing dyslexia will happen around when you're 12, which means that there has been a lot of pain and agony for a lot of children up to the age of 12. The cost of this, and the only country I know who's made cost estimates is the UK, but they believe that dyslexia, which affects 11% of the population, costs some 2.5 billion pounds annually in loss of productivity and loss of opportunity. Now, being able to diagnose a kid at the age of 6 gives that kid a whole different future. So optoplexia using machine learning. Our investment principle for IoT is it starts with your things, because honestly, we've done process automation in the industry for quite some time. We have, but it's been in silos, more or less. But it's not new. There are people that claims Internet of Things is like 100 years old from the first camera coming out being a device. But there is all these various already existing connected devices out there in various different silos, where if we unlock those silos, we can gain new insights. We have some examples of organizations that are benefiting from this today. I'll take 2 of them because I have the figures on, but Rockwell Automation is a company in the US working in the oil and gas industry, 22,000 some employees. And they have all these different elements out there they are monitoring now. So they know and doing predictive maintenance and predictive analytics on these various different elements. By deploying that, they managed to save over $300,000 in just unnecessary travel expenses on a daily basis. $300K on a daily basis. Lido Stoneworks, you know, sounds very, you've been working with stone for 10,000 years. But they automated their total process. And if you look at the impact on the top line, they increased revenue with 30%, and the bottom line, they increased profits with 70% by automating using the Internet of Things platform. So that's a couple of examples that Internet of Things is real, it's here, people are using it, and in various different use cases, realizing great values around that. Now, this was what we said last year. They can be complex, there's long timelines, it's hard to scale, it's difficult to customize. If I want to do an IoT project, will that become my next SAP project? God forbid. There is naturally normal project development processes. You do a feasibility study, it takes 3 months. Then you have a solution architect spending 3 months. Then you have an application developer spending 3 months, and so forth. And it takes time before you even get to the pilot stage. So I totally agree with Sarah on make it simple. We last year talked about Azure IoT services. Azure is a cloud platform. It's deployed in 28 regions all over the world. We announced UK and Germany just last week with data centers all over these places. And Azure is a collection of services which is added on a daily basis, and have fantastic use cases all over. But we realize that it can be hard to actually, you know, which service should I use where? How do you build architecture based on all of these services? How do I stitch it together? Do I need to stitch it together? In what way do I do that? How can I make this more, you know, useful for me? We realize that, and generically in Microsoft, you will see us come out with more of what we call suites. We have the Enterprise Mobility Suite. We have the Operations Management Suite. And now we have the Azure IoT Suite and the Cortana Analytics Suite. And what we do with these suites is actually we stitch together the various different Azure services for you. So instead of spending those 3 months in a feasibility study and 3 months with an architect to do things, in the Azure IT Suite, when you go into the Azure portal and enable it, we build architecture for you in the background. We provision the right services for you in the background. We get you an IoT platform up and running in 13 minutes, actually, so you can get started. And as you can see, it includes all the various different components that's needed to do an end-to-end solution. We have sensor simulations. You don't need to have actual sensors if you don't already have them. We're totally endpoint agnostic. So if you already run, Linux, we have libraries for, I think it's 7 Linux directs. If you run Windows 7, 8, 10, we have those two covered. And we will add, even if you have a real-time OS you built yourself, we have an SDK for that you can adapt to the platform. But not only that, we also realized that doing a pilot in the end means that at some point, you will want to connect with the backend somewhere to realize, even if it's a total automated system, you want to connect it to an incident management system, or you want to connect it to a CRM system, or whatever. So we have built those connectors for you for free. They're on the box, and you can use those connectors to your existence. So you don't have to build migration or have big projects around integration for doing a pilot that realizes an end-to-end value proposition. And then we have pre-configured solutions. So here's the application level. Back to Sara's presentation. We've done some studies in the manufacturing industry. There's three use cases that pops up regardless. It's remote monitoring, it's asset management, and it's predictive maintenance. So we built applications for those 3 scenarios, which we'll give away to you. They're open source, they're on GitHub for you to adapt. So you don't even have to, start from scratch on the application area. It's already there for you. And just to demo a bit on this, we have done a couple of projects, and actually with Jansi Networks here in Sweden. They make devices for smart buildings. And we work together with Jansi and Turians, who will present this afternoon in IBM track, 1:30, on doing smart buildings with Azure IoT Suite and remote monitoring. And we're also doing this with Telia on their M2M in a box sensor. So if you have those sensors, we can connect them. They're already connectable up to the Azure IoT Suite. And being Microsoft, we need to do demos. So let me introduce Dag Koenig. He's a developer evangelist at Microsoft and a good friend. And he's been using a couple of hours of his spare time. You can tell them more.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm just a happy developer that really likes the work with sensors, and a really great time because everyone is throwing new sensors at me. So I really want the new TeliaSense today, if it's okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. I want to show you 3 short demonstrations about what Richard had told you. So the first thing is to create an Azure IoT Suite. So to do that, you go to the site, Azure IoT Suite. You log in to Azure. Hope I have a good connection here. Yeah, thank you. So create a new solution. This is really hard to press the keyboard with this stand. But here you see we have templates, and currently we have the remote monitoring template, and we have predictive maintenance coming soon, and we will have, of course, other templates. So I will start to making a remote monitoring template, and I have here down select. So it's really strange here. And the only thing I need to do is to enter information in 3 fields to make this. So let me say something here, bus 60. I need to choose a region. I take no, not East Asia. Oops, it's very hard to have, come on. So this is the only thing I need to do. And you see on the left side here, you see what is done. We create an Azure IT Hub. We create 3 stream analytics for real-time analyzing. We create 1 document DB, a new SQL database to manage all your devices. We create Azure Storage to store the telemetry data. We create also an event hub and a website. So let's do that. Great solution. So now this template is sent to Azure, and in 13 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes, we will get a new site where everything is configured and everything is already up and running. Let me show you one of these that are up and running. And this is what you get when you log into your site. So you get a dashboard here with a map, you get the telemetry data, you get alarms and so on. And here you see that I have configured 3 real Telia M2M devices. And I really love these devices. It's really good to do prototyping with, but one problem if I want to do more with the data, I want to incorporate other data feeds also, and then it's really, really simple to do with Azure IoT Suite. So if you want to add devices, you can do that here. Here you have the device I have here currently, and I can do simulated devices, software devices, or I can do custom hardware devices. And the only thing I need to do is get the key and start to push data into Azure. So this is very simple. And this solution took me a weekend at my small cottage to do. But the last demonstration I want to show you is a demonstration with Jansi. So Jansi do very many things, very many different sensors. This is a motion sensor. They have a temperature sensor. They have everything for a smart office. And in our office at Microsoft, we have the open office policy, which means that we don't have any seats. So each day when I come to the office, I really need to know where I get the free seat. So I want to use Jansi to do that. So I have done a simple example of that. And it's here. And excuse me for my bad graphic design. I'm a developer, not a graphic designer. This was the hardest part. I can say this took not the day to do, the whole solution. And it should be run on this, on the Raspberry Pi, because this is developed with the Universal Windows platform, which makes it possible to write the same code and run it on a tablet, on a Surface Hub, on a mobile phone, and on a Raspberry Pi. So the real case was that I had a big TV screen and the Raspberry Pi connected with the HDMI cable, but we couldn't get the TV screen on the stage. So my last demonstration is, you see the arrow? The arrow is connected to a sensor, not the arrow, but this solution is connected to a sensor underneath the table. So when I go to the table will register, okay, I do it. The table will register that I have a motion underneath it, and then it will go up to Jansi, and then we say this is occupied. So it's really, really simple here to see what kind of seats are occupied, what's free, what's a conference room free, and so on. And this is, of course, very simple to do. It took me less than 6 hours to do this demonstration. So start prototyping. Start do your imagination. And it's very, very easy to do that. So start now.
Thank you, Dag. So that demo stole all the time, but we will share the presentation. So here is actually what happened here was really that the sensor sent signals into our ingestion event hub that then sent it to Stream Analytics. And this all process from that green to red was processed in our Azure platform in Ireland. So you could see the latency aspects of that in that perspective. So running out of time and call to action. So we are here today to tell you that there is nothing preventing you from going out and do a pilot today. There is no big bucks involved in doing a pilot today. There is no time needed really to do a pilot today. And there is already applications. If you have remote monitoring, asset management, or predictive maintenance use cases you are contemplating, you can go out and start to just go wild and look at it. So you can use more or less the startup method of succeed fast, fail fast, but reiterate, and actually do stuff. It's not the next SAP project, really. Another call to action is that we are here. You're welcome to come down to us at Microsoft. Jansi is here. Eva Fors sits there, former colleague from Microsoft, now the CEO of Jansi. So you can go and check out what they're doing. And we're doing things together, as I mentioned, with Therens. So you can go to Per Bjalnes' presentation, 1:30, and listen to the smart building stuff there. With that, well, getting started. We have something called a quick start. model. So we have a number of partners out there. Accenture is here is one of those partners. By the way, they have a smart mining application on Azure that's brilliant. And we have another that do quick start consultations. It's half a day. It helps you, to think in the right way. And when you end after that half a day, you actually will have one of these pilots up and running. So that's something you can come back and talk to us about as well. With that said, thank you for listening, and hope the rest of the day will be enjoyable. Thank you.
Richard, thank you very much indeed. I got one letter wrong in your title, and you had a go at me. That's the danger of ad-libbing, right? My editor always says to me, he says, just stick to the script. He says, you just make it up when you go along. Richard, thanks a lot. Richard is going to be back with us for the panel discussion later. So don't forget, hashtag IoT Living Connections. So we'll come back and convene again in this same place at 10 past. But please don't miss it, okay? Because I'm told that Professor Misha Dola from King's College in London is going to tell us about what's previously been untold in the Internet of Things. We've heard from 3 people who are inside the industry. The professor, I suppose, you look at it from the outside, so it's going to be another interesting take on it. Okay, enjoy your break. Have a coffee.